Hey everyone, welcome to another Age of Mythology video here. This is the second campaign level in the Titans expansion, and it's Atlantis Reborn. And I have this video sped up a little bit more than usual. This is a sped up at 300, and I've been using 200 or 250 for 2.5 times, or normally 2 times speed. So I have it sped up to 300 here just because it's a longer game, and I wanted to keep the video a reasonable length. So starting off here, you get a few villagers, a town center, a few little attacks come in there, and so one of the first things I do is get a wall up where the attackers come in from, and I send my few soldiers over to a corner of your starting area to clear up a few enemy guys and claim those goats. And there's a relic over there too, but you don't have any temples to put it in yet, and so just see, I'm actually aging up. It's going fast with my faster recording, and you can see a few more guys come in here and there, only at 4 minutes in, something like that. So just be ready for them. Luckily, I had the wall up already, but pretty much for the first, I don't know, maybe half hour or so, usually I just wall up, tower up over here, and try to build up my economy, because there are plenty of resources here, and gold gets a little bit short later on, but plenty of resources in the starting area to get going, get a couple towers up. I pretty much build the limit on towers on that wall there, but just try to keep constant production of villagers. Nice herd up here, and the attacks get a lot stronger as time goes on. But so that's a pretty representative early attack, maybe 20 guys, some just infantry, so the towers clean them up pretty easily. Get that carnivora there, use the archers, keep building towers. And the first objective is they tell you to restore the temples right by your town center, but I wait a little while to do that just so I can get my economy going. Get plenty of villagers on, just enough villagers on wood to sustain tower production, get the rest on food and gold. Try to get probably put up a few barracks soon, just to replenish my guys. And right around the 13-minute mark, they bring in an underworld passage, and usually it goes right where those archers are standing right about now. But sometimes their Pegasus will fly over, and it'll end up behind you, sort of towards the gold mine. Not really behind you, but close by to your town center. So it's just something to keep in mind. So by about 13 minutes, you want to have some guys ready to go, just in case. Or don't bother, and if you lose at 13 minutes because you got screwed by the underworld passage, and start over, I guess. But yeah, I built that sky passage there because I'm going to surround it with military buildings, and then I can use the sky passages to sort of get around the map, and send Caster out there to try to distract the guys a little bit, let the towers mop them up, and they don't last. Those medium level guys don't last too long against the towers, but just trying to get the villager out there to build more towers, replenish the walls. And I always set the gather point on that for my town center on that gold mine, so that's why I had about 8 gold miners there, and I went and sent them onto wood to get some farms going. I'm very agricultural in my Age of Empires games. Maybe that's good or bad, but I tend in the campaigns I tend to have a slower play style, so I set up for the long haul with lots of farms. Try to get about 10-12 farms up at a minimum. And a few boars down there, hunted them, and then I think I send those guys on those goats after that. So there's that Pegasus, probably going to try to put down that underworld passage, or he might have gotten shot down, I couldn't really tell. Just moving slowly, getting the improvements, get some farms going. Pretty much want to get to your villager limit. You can always delete them later, but you can stockpile resources. So here I'm choosing my age up, and went with Thea. You have to see what what improvements you get for what types of units you want to use. I generally stick with mass infantry, but that's just me. So So I guess by taking down that Pegasus, I delayed the underworld passage, because it hasn't popped up yet. But like I said, I got those guys hunting over there. Those goats are nice and fat now. And one annoying thing about the Atlanteans don't really have great siege. Oh, there's that underworld passage. But so now they have heavy units. That's maybe a little bit more of a concern. But so I send in those Murmios. But the Atlanteans don't have great siege. I mean, in the Third Age, you're really limited to destroyers and behemoths if you have them. And you get a few of them in this game when you restore the temples. But they just take up such a large amount of population, and they move so slowly. I tend to stick with destroyers. But I get a dock up there, and we're going to use that to sort of explore the map a little bit, get some villagers out to the other side of the island. Find some more resources. And I get a counter barracks up there. I don't know if I ever make any units out of it, but it's good to have the diversity if you want it. And you can see there I surrounded the sky passage with barracks just so I can garrison units in there and send them all over the map wherever I need them. So stockpiling plenty of food here. It's not going to go bad. And after I restored that temple, the behemoth appeared inside one of my buildings there, so he was stuck. I just had to delete the behemoth. And the only annoying thing on these attacks is you can see we get a catapult coming in. I just go out and take it out and let the towers mop up the rest of the guys. Getting a few ships up, got a transport and a few... the fire ships are awesome, one of my favorite Atlantean units. A couple siege ships as well. But again, being limited to the Third Age, your siege ships aren't great. Their range is less than that of a building, so your naval assaults are a little bit weak. But sent Castor to get a few relics there, and I think I have 1 or 2 villagers on that transport. That's all you need. We're gonna go take them over to the other side of the map. And there is a town center out there, not too far from your starting area, that starts off empty, and they come in and destroy that dock. But my guys are already long gone, so no problem. I tried placing my Carnivora in the water, and turns out it works, but yeah, he just got taken out by the boats. And there's that, like I said, there's that town center close to your starting area. Starts off empty, but you know, we'll go get that later on once we're sufficiently built up. And so I sent those villagers over there. There's a sky passage there that you can claim. And I'm just putting some towers up because the enemy will make some ships. Obviously, they took out that dock. And so now we've got... Now we've got our objectives now that the temples have been restored. So they're saying that you have to destroy the military academies in the pass. And they're pretty tough to get to because you'll get attacks from them and you also get attacks from the city that you have to attack a little bit later. So I've got some... I think I deleted some villagers there. I've got some caravans going, just to keep the gold up. You know, not really necessary. I'm at pop limit now, but so I'm coming down here to try to assault that forward town center to help my population. And then there's a big attack coming in, so I just abandoned that for the time being. Again, no rush here. You know, I would recommend saving every 5 minutes or something like that, just in case something stupid happens, like this. A big attack came in, and you know, they're just kind of relentless. So get that behemoth on there, and I think this attack kind of fizzles out. I try to get that sky passage up, but you know, you're limited by your population. So I've got my navy out here built up the navy a little bit. There are a few enemy docks you can destroy, and I sent some villagers down to another island in the lower corner there, and there's another sky passage you can claim, and we're gonna use that island as a basis for our assault a little bit later in the game. And I'm very much trying to defend those sky passages by that town center, but the Murmios just melt to the Greek infantry. Murmios are really not great, especially against the counter infantry, Hopius, or however you pronounce it, Hypospis. I'm not even really sure, but yeah, so I'm going to try to get this TC down just with mass infantry, and there my food just melted. I think I had 5,500 food, and now I'm almost empty, but deleted some towers just because at my limit. And I'm just sending my guys at these archers and infantry, and of course the catapult just snipes my town center. That's nice. And I depleted that gold mine up there. There's actually another gold mine in the starting area that I think I forgot about in this one, but there are more on that island I claimed in the south of the map. And my palace I built there almost got destroyed. Just built that as a to try to keep the herd of ships thin in the in the sea down there. Trying to use my town center to defend, build some towers, and with that size of an attack, it's just there's no contest. The Murmios just melt, and I think I used stun power there to try to help. Just trying to crank out guys. And I'm trying to remember what happens here. Maybe they take it out, but got a few ships down here just annoying the enemy shipping there. Try to take out their docks. Oh no, actually I did mine that gold mine in the starting area, so there was no gold left there. I had to go out to that southern island, and there are a few gold mines scattered throughout the map that you can get. And there they took out the town center. Like, great. Can you stop for a minute? And I think I made some archers just because the infantry was frustrating me so much. And I kind of abandoned ship there. Came back to the home to just defend there. And so now I've got some destroyers queued up at the southern base there, and what I'm actually going to do is send them on a transport behind those military academies to take them out. Again, keeping a couple ships in the area down there just to keep tabs on them. And we'll try to destroy their dock in a bit, but staying close to the buildings to defend. Just drawing them in towards the buildings, of course. So now you can see there's a two-prong attack coming in there, so I'm going to send these destroyers in to take out those buildings. And that's what's annoying about these the attacks, is they come two at once or in rapid succession, so from those military academies in the pass and also the city, so the destroyers make quick work of that of those buildings, and that thins the herd a little bit, so. And those guys just melt at my towers and archers. But here comes the second wave, so got to be careful. And they bust through here a little bit, but no matter. So I can send those destroyers at that town center that miraculously popped up again. So now once you get the town center, you can expand your population a little bit more. It's always good. And I think I just grabbed some of my villagers on those farms there to build that town center. So once I get that town center up, I'll get a forward base going in the pass and prepare to assault the city. Get a sky passage down there first. That way I can send guys from home. I think it's a good idea, like I did, to make sort of a centralized military production and then just send them with sky passages. So here I'm going to use my siege ships to take out a few towers over by that dock there, and they don't last too long against the towers, but you got to do what you got to do, I guess. And here they invoke peace power. So now what happens with peace power on this map is you have to go destroy that town center. I just send all my guys in at once to try to surround the town center. This is like your golden opportunity, if this happens, to try to get in there and take out this town center. So I just, you know, in the back of my head, I don't really want to destroy it, just because for the purpose of the video, I want to show, you know, the other way to, you know, the alternate way to beat this. And if I had tried a little bit harder, I probably could have taken it down. But they kill all my guys when it has like 20 hit points left, and they just repair it. So that was kind of frustrating, but really, you know, I wanted to sort of preserve the game for the purpose of making this video, just so I could show the you know, the sneaky way I beat this. But the other thing is the triggering on that peace power is a little bit sporadic. They don't always call it in. I'm not really sure what causes them to call it in. So if they do, just be ready for it. But if not, if you miss your opportunity, then I'll show you how I like to beat it. So pretty much what I do is I make a small destroyer army, about 24 of them, enough to fit on a transport ship, and then I sort of backdoor the town center while they're sending out an attack. So just got some guys over by those palaces to defend, and I'm going to build up my army of destroyers. And over here you can see you can distract them kind of easily. I'm just taking out these buildings. I don't know what the merit is. They're not really making myth units with those temples, but they have plenty of other military buildings there, so I try to thin them out a little bit. Deleting a few villagers just to make more room, and I think I probably delete some caravans also, just because I'm pretty good on gold and most resources. And I think they have one more dock out there somewhere that I go to destroy. Yeah, delete some caravans. And they'll send like one guy in there, which is kind of funny. But yeah, there's the last dock you can destroy. They will build new ones, especially in the area just across from the palace on the southern island. But you know, you can just keep an eye on it. And there are other temples throughout the map that you can restore, and all you really gain from that is a free what's it called, behemoth, which if you want to use them is fine, because you can't really make any myth units in this one. So if you want to use them for siege, you know, if you wanted to mass them up, and then, you know, if they call it in peace power, you could send them in, and they'd probably take it out. But the population they take up, and they're slow, and, you know, and the peace power is pretty sporadic at best. So best bet is to just go with infantry, destroyers, whatever. Or cavalry too, but I prefer infantry for the population space. So here I'm going to try to use the Hesperides tree, but I'm going to try to send in an attack here to distract these guys, pull them away from the town center. And then I go to send in my destroyers, but they have a couple ships there, and they just take out my transport, so there go all my destroyers. So no matter, it was a little bit frustrating, but you know, just made some more. So I sent my ships over there to sort out those enemy ships. And clear the coastline for my next wave of guys. So I'm mostly just going with siege ships, so I can also attack the buildings. And we have the towers and the palaces there, so ships aren't really much of a concern. You can just draw them in. And here they get a little bit testy with my forward base, but Sky Passage to the rescue. I just send guys in. And actually, at this point, I determined that it's another good time for an attack. And I think this one fizzles out, but we'll see. Yeah, there are a few minutes left in the video, so it probably does. Once I see that, I just queue up more guys, but now we have this coastline kind of secured, so send in some Contarius. And just kind of feeling them out, try to see how they react. Keeping the coastline safe, make sure nobody plops a dock down there or anything. And I've got those Contarius. I think I might turn them all into heroes, just to make them a little hardier, but I don't know, I just send them in as a distractor. And they all just get massacred. I was about to send in my destroyers and realized that that wasn't working, so send in those dryads. Have a legion of Murmios to back them up, and here we go for the kill. You can see most of the enemy guys are fighting my Murmios, and that leaves the town center pretty undefended. But still going back, queuing up more guys just in case. And you can see there are only maybe 6 or 8 enemy guys there to try to defend, and the town center falls. So that's it for this one, guys. Hopefully you like my strategy and can use it. You know, you might be able to bum rush them a little earlier and win it more quickly, but I've had very limited success with that. So there are a couple other tricks on this map you could try to pull, but this one worked for me. So that's all for this one. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one.